You have one unheard message. First unheard message sent yesterday at 7:15 p.m.
Hey Ty, it's Rich. Have you heard this message from Mattress Max? It's out on X. You know, that thing that used to be called Twitter? Hey, check it out.
Put the people before the profit. I want to thank these three men up here and countless first responders, men and women all over our city and county, and all the hardworking people who work 20 hours a day to help people out during this horrible hurricane.
I'm Rich Levine, and this is Meet Me at the Gate, where we're not just talking theory, we're tackling real-world problems head-on, driving solutions that supercharge productivity and team dynamics. Every episode is a journey towards improvement, empowering you, the manager, to lead with innovation and confidence. Join us to transform everyday roadblocks into highways for success.
So I went down the street to another big auction, and I was going to go get a gate pass, and so I'm standing there. This guy's like, "Oh, Ty, I know you. Ty, hey, Ty, I've talked to you before. I know you, Ty. I talked to you about 2 years ago." "Oh, hey, buddy. I don't know you." "Yeah, that's all right. I'm in Houston." So anyway, this guy's name is, he calls himself Danny. It's Darius or Danius or whatever. But I coached him about 2 years ago. Anyway, I gave him your name and number and told him when he gets back to Houston, he needs to look you up. I got him signed up, subscribed to our channel. I said, "I'm over here now."
I know you're dying to ask me questions.
So first of all, tell me the name of the hurricane.
Hurricane Beryl.
Beryl?
Beryl.
Yeah, Beryl.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I thought it was Beryl at first, but it was Beryl.
I could never pronounce it, so.
Like
you did a good
hurl.
job. Hurl, but Beryl.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
I think I'm going to hurl. Oh,
were
wait,
you
that's from
actually
Wayne's World.
there when it happened, started?
I was in the city. I was in Houston. Yes, I was not at the auction. No.
Okay, so you're in Houston. They're telling you there's a big hurricane coming.
Yeah.
Everybody knew about it. No surprise.
Well, it was a little bit of a surprise because originally it was supposed to land a little farther to the south and west on the coast towards Corpus, and then blast up through. We were hoping where I actually have my house is Austin, and we need rain in Austin. And they were talking 9 to 15 inches of rain. We're like, yes, we really need it. Well, crazy story is, yeah, exactly. We're getting super excited. We're going to fill up the lake. We're going to go from 40% capacity to maybe 80% capacity. And it'll be like, yeah, we need this rain. And that was Saturday. That was Friday, Saturday. We're planning on that. Well, Sunday, they're like, yeah, this thing's turning. It's going right at Houston. We're like, what? So, you know, my typical routine. I jump in my car, throw my bags in the car and take off. So me and the dog are in the car and we're driving from Austin to Houston. Everything's pretty good. I get about halfway to Houston and all of a sudden just starts raining. Like you would not believe rain.
Yeah.
I've never been in a hurricane. I've been in a couple of resorts on vacation when hurricanes were supposed to hit and they missed us. So I've never been in a hurricane. So I thought maybe it was me. This one was going to miss us, but it doesn't. And I'm telling you, out of nowhere, it just starts raining. Like you can't believe. Like I guess if you're in the Midwest, you compare it to a cow pissing on a flat rock. That's how hard it was coming down.
Yeah.
So I pull up my radar because we're going super slow because we can't go. So I hit my radar app, and sure enough, you can see, you know, how it looks like you see on TV. There's one of these bands. I'm like, all right, there's the first one. I'm like, how long is this going to last? It was about 20 minutes. But I bet you, I mean, the rain was, you could hydroplane really easy because if you looked at the road, there was actually water standing on the road. And there shouldn't be water standing on the road, on a freeway. Yeah. So I called the wife and said, yeah, first rain, or text her, you know, from the car, Siri to text, hey, you know, send my wife a text. What would you like to say? So I'm telling Siri, say, it's raining like cats and dogs, a cow pissing on a flat rock. I'm going to be okay. And I keep going. I get probably 60 miles from Houston. And I don't know what made me pay attention, but I look across the median to the other side. And this is traffic leaving Houston, going to Austin. And it is bumper to bumper. I'm like, it's category 1. They go up to 5. It's just some rain and wind. I'm going to be all right. I'm just going to keep on going. Meanwhile, on the other side, it was a gridlock, completely stopped. So I sent another text message. Hey, Siri, send a text message to my wife. What do you want to say? So I tell Siri to tell her that I'm in bumper, or the other side's bumper to bumper not. And so I get a text back, "You're the only crazy one going into Houston." Pretty much I was.
Yeah.
So fast forward to Monday morning, everybody's texting me on Sunday night. Everybody's texting me, "Hey, are we going to be open tomorrow?" "Yeah, we're going to be open tomorrow. We're going to work." "Are you sure?" "Yep." I said, "We'll make the decision tomorrow, but we're going to be open." So I get up 5 a.m. like I always do, go down to the gym. I'm on the treadmill. I'm doing my workout. Power goes out. Treadmill stops. I'm like, oh, power comes back on. Yeah. Treadmill. Power goes out. This happens about 3 times. After about 20 minutes, I give up. I'm like, all right, come back to my apartment, start doing some work. Nothing's going on. 8:30, still got power, still working, looking outside. I'm like, it's raining. It's not doing anything different. About 9 o'clock, poof, whole apartment goes dark. I'm looking outside. All of a sudden, and I'm in a courtyard. Furniture's flying into the pool. I mean, they had it roped down or whatever, but somehow it broke loose and there's people, it's stuff is flying down there. I'm like, oh. So I'm like, this is something else. We lose power. And I'm like, oh, this, I look out and I can't see it because I'm in a courtyard, not that big of a deal. So I ride it out. About noon, I sent a text out. I said, all right, can you meet me at the auction? So I get a hold of our ops manager. Yep, he can meet me at the auction. So I jump in my car, load the dog up. We drive. I get about 3 blocks away. Roofs are torn off. Trees are in the middle of the road. Power lines are strung all over. I'm like, yeah, this is just a little area. I'll be fine. So I turn to make a left to get on the other side of the freeway. Closed. Water, because you have to go under the freeway. It was water. I saw one car under there where I could barely see the roof. I'm like, you are stupid. I ain't doing it. So I back up. I go down. I go a little farther. I'm like, I'll go over the freeway. So I go and I'm going over the freeway, get ready to turn to get on the freeway. Freeway's closed because the freeway goes down. I'm like, but I'm trapped. I can't go anywhere. So what do? I drive the wrong direction on a one-way to get to where I can get back to where I'm going, and I try one more time. Get across. I'm finally across the freeway. I'm like, yes. Trees down across the road.
Oh, no.
So I said, all right, I'm going to go back home. But these are all one-way roads. That little trip took me until 2 o'clock.
Wow. Noon to 2-hour trip to go nowhere?
Went maybe 2.5 miles, maybe. But in that time, I'd got a hold of a couple people. I got an employee that works for us in New Orleans, works from home, works remote. And I said, hey, I need you to send a text. I got nothing. Cell phone towers are jammed. I said, send a text, send an email, put something on our Slack channel. Say, hey, we're closed. We can't do this. So we go through the day, whatever. So, but the one employee our ops manager was able to make it there. And we're doing play-by-play, and I wish I recorded it because he's telling us about the roads and stuff. And this road's flooded. Now I'm going here. That road's flooded. Hey, I can see the property. I says, does it look all right? So he gets on the property. The property's dry. Everything's good. The alarms were going off before the power went out. Windows were shaking. Doors were shaking. We didn't really have any damage at all. He walked the whole property, checked everything out. No power. We're like, all right, we'll come in tomorrow. We'll fire up the generator. And that's exactly what we did. So we got there on Tuesday, and this is where it gets really interesting, right? Because it's Tuesday, the day after hurricane. We're not even 24 hours into this. And I think we had 16, 18 people show up for work. Wow. Day after hurricane. Yeah, wow, I was right.
That's good.
But it's our anniversary week.
Ah.
We had planned this. We were planning on offering 2 times the number of cars of our regular sale and going to run 1 extra lane. Mm-hmm. It's a big undertaking. Yeah. 18 people. So this is where you're going to start asking questions, and then I'll shut up here, but I'm going to finish real quick. Then you start asking questions. So by 10 o'clock, 10:30, we were able to get the generator up and running, reboot all the computer systems, and we had air conditioning, generators running the whole property, air conditioning's working. We bring up the operating system. It's all working. We got internet. We're like, yeah, we're going to have a sale. 2 o'clock, I got one rep actually flew in. Hey, you guys still having a sale? Yep, still having a sale. 3 o'clock, we don't have any cars set. I'm going back. I'm going to go find a hotel. So if you checked where you can find a hotel. So rep goes back to the hotel. and says, you know what, I'm just going to fly home tomorrow morning and rebook my flight. I said, okay, but we're going to have a sale. He goes, you don't have any car set. I said, we're going to have a sale. Have some faith. All right, I'll have some faith. I won't book a flight. 5 o'clock, we have a sale set. We have the same number of cars we would normally offer set by 5 o'clock, 5:15. We don't have a single thing parked.
Yeah.
But by 8:30 that night, we had the entire sale parked. We had the entire sale set. We were all starving, hungry. We all went home, came home to dark houses, whatever. And then we get to the next day and we have a sale.
Wow. Okay, so first question is, you say 18 people showed up. What's normal?
18 employees. That's about a third, maybe a little more than a third of our staff.
Okay. So that's a big deal, right?
That's a huge deal. I mean, a lot of people couldn't get out of their houses. They were blocked because trees were falling over. Power was out. Power wasn't really the biggest issue. The issue was flooded roads and trees down.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, okay, so fine. As I'm hearing the story, I'm like, okay, well, if I was working at an auction and my job was to stage and move cars around, and I just went through a hurricane, I'm not sure how excited I would be to go to work today. But you had 18 people that were excited, and not only, tell me if I'm wrong, but not only excited, but really rolled their sleeves up, dove in, and got serious busy.
Yes.
Because that's more than a couple hundred cars, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yes,
sir.
When you say set, that doesn't mean that the cars are on the spot. That means we know where everything's going. Now we got to go find them, and we got to put them where they're supposed to be.
Yeah. So set in the sale means we've entered in the computer, hey, this car goes, we're going to put it on this number, and now it's that one set for sale. So you get them all set, and then we print out a block sheet. And then somebody's got to go out. Now we got to sticker them, and now we got to park them.
Yeah.
And
Steve and those guys.
Steven, and yeah, it was incredible. And there's some, we've talked about the value-based leadership, right?
Yeah.
That played a huge role. I didn't dictate to anybody that they had to be there. I just said, hey, we're going to be open. I'm just going to be straight honest with you. There's no relief emergency fund. If you don't show up, I don't have money to pay you. If you can make it here and you want to work, we're going to be open. We're going to pay you to work. People came and they worked and they busted their butt. And they didn't bust their butt because they had to. They busted their butt because they wanted to. And so there's two pieces that play into this. And we've talked about on the podcast in the past, and you can ask more questions if you want. But one is that value-based leadership. We're building a place where people want to come and want to participate. The other side of it, let's go back to the customer that flew in, that showed up, and then had to get a hotel room a long way and gave us some grief and stuff, and we pull off the sale. The only reason not the only reason, but additional reason why this was possible is because he and his organization have allowed us in the past to fall down and make mistakes and learn from them and grow, and didn't beat us up for not being the robotic auctions that some finance companies expect. You got to do this and you're going to do this exactly this way. So they gave us grace and they allowed us to make some mistakes. And because they did that and didn't beat us up and yell at us when we screwed up and made mistakes and said, hey, well, next time let's get it right. How can we help? And we work together. Now, when push comes to shove and something has to happen, they wanted to run through a wall, not only for me as the leader that helped build an organization or a value-based leadership where people want to be, but we got a customer that believes in us as well, that didn't say, hey, you have to do this because I said so. They did it because they gave us grace in the past, and they wanted to show them, they basically wanted to say thank you. And we pulled it off, and we sold 98% of their cars the next day for way more than their floor. And we almost got a 100% on their scorecard. And they didn't give us the 100%. We earned the 100% score.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Well, so I guess that's the next question is, that was good. That's where I was going next was, okay, so there's various parts to this. There's the auction team, get it set up. We're shorthanded. You've got your client, the commercial account. But then the next piece is the dealer. So yeah, the dealers showed up. Now, tell me some of that. Because I wouldn't think that the dealer, to me, that's pretty impressive that the dealer shows up and buys all the cars.
They show up. Not only do they show up and they buy all the cars, but they're enthusiastic about it. And there's a few things that play into this. We'll figure out how many it is. We'll number them off afterwards. So the first experience, I believe, is we're creating a place where not only employees want to be, but vendors want to be and customers want to be. And they were there Tuesday morning, like, are you guys going to be open? Do you have power? There was nobody with power in our area. There was nobody with power around at all, period. But yet they see a few cars in there. They see some activity go on. They see the lights on. And they open that front door, and it's 95 degrees, and it's humid as all hell. And they walk in, and it's cool, and there's air conditioning. That is one thing that most Houstonians did not have during the hurricane. They didn't have air conditioning. We had the generator run the whole thing.
Yeah.
So then we did one other thing too, to get them there on Wednesday to buy the cars. So yes, the phone was ringing off the hook. Are you going to have a sale? Yes, we're going to have a sale. Are you going to be open? Yes, we're going to be open. Are you going to drive cars? Yeah, we're going to drive cars. We're going to do it. We're having all this. No way. Oh, by the way, it's also our anniversary sale and we're catering food in tomorrow. What? You're catering food in? Oh. Yeah, we already had this planned. So what I did on Tuesday when I was able to get in there, so Tuesday, I really didn't do any auction work myself until 5:30. And then I went out and started parking cars with the guys. I needed it. That's another piece. I needed to go do that because by the end of the day, I was so frustrated, stressed out, and going, what the hell? I needed to be out there with the people doing what they were doing. And I had a ball. Yeah. And I walked out there and I said, hey, what do you need me to do? And they go, you're the boss. You tell me. I said, no, I'm working for you. What do you need me to do? Well, we need to get all these cars over here. All right, point me in the right direction. So I went over there and Steven's telling me where to go. I'm jumping the cars. We start moving some cars. But during that time, during the day, I make a couple of phone calls, and I call up the caterer that's coming over. We need to give him a shout out. 10 Roof Barbecue, up by the airport here in Houston, by Bush Airport. And I said, hey, are you still going to be able to cater? Yeah, great, really, sweet. I said, can you double our order for tomorrow? They're like, what? And I said, yeah, let's double it. Is you sure? I said, yep. Double the order. I need to double the order. So now I've got two things on sale day that most people in Houston don't have. I got food that's freshly cooked, and I have air conditioning, and we're having fun. Yeah. But I doubled the order on purpose. I wasn't expecting more dealers. Yeah. I fed anybody that came through the door that was a dealer. I fed all the vendors, and I fed all my employees, and I fed all the temp drivers. Yeah, good job. Guess what they're going to go say the next time something happens? All I did was increase my advertising budget. I did it through food. Yeah. I still had people a week later. Here we are 10 days later. I still have people walking into the sale and said, I can't believe you had a sale, and I can't believe you fed everybody. It was so nice. It was so awesome. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, people are just, it's like blown away. What you give away is what you keep. Yes. And we gave away a lot. Yeah, you did. But it comes back. So a question, you've been in auction business for a while. Is it common for auctions to have a backup generator that runs the entire operation? I would say it's probably, let's go with the easy out. It's 50-50. Yes, some do, and no, some don't. But I would probably be willing to bet 50% of the auctions out there have a generator that'll power at least the parts, at least the office and maybe the arena. We're fortunate enough. We're not the biggest auction in the world, but our backup generator is big enough that it powers everything, including all those air conditioners, including the reconditioning facility. Yeah. So we were able to do that. And, this is a shout out. Cars Recon just came on board with us at the beginning of the month. And their whole goal was to start before the anniversary sale. And Cars Recon, we're not big, but they've been helping us and they've been doing an incredible job. So Becky was on a podcast earlier. Remember how you helped me get Becky and you introduced me to get, reacclimated me to cars. I didn't know Becky. I knew her dad. But anyway, on Tuesday, the day after the hurricane, every single employee from Cars Recon was there, including the two people that came in from out of town. Nobody missed from that department. Oh my gosh! So now we. Hold on. Let's talk about how big of a statement that was.
These are recon detail department, correct? This
Yep.
is not an easy job. Ever.
No.
Any day of the week, this is not an easy job. And there's also
No.
the what do you call it? DIE? Die?
D no, it's not the DEI. We're not going woke. This the de-identification. So we call it DID.
DID, yeah.
So taking the decals, the logos, the stickers, the wraps off all the vehicles.
Yeah. That's part of the recon too, right?
That's part of the reconditioning. Yeah.
Yeah. So that so after I've never been in a hurricane anywhere close to one, but I would have to assume after the hurricane, is it still hot and humid?
Oh, it's hotter than it was. Super hot and super humid. I mean, it's like being in a swamp because now you got all the water standing everywhere, and it's just. I mean, you talk about humidity on a normal day than this. Yeah,
you just soaked all
and
the
but and you know and I came home back to my apartment every night after this hurricane, and by the third night, the dog was sleeping on the patio because it was so humid. There's not a breeze. It's just dead still. It was probably pushing 90 degrees in my apartment. Now, and I don't want people to feel sorry for me. I'm perfectly healthy man. I was just fine. But this goes across our entire city. There's people that have asthma, that have oxygen tanks, that rely on, or maybe they're on some type of medication that has to be kept cool in a refrigerator or whatever. There's no power for this stuff. There's nothing going on. Yeah. And then to get that power back and to get where they were. So I looked at it as like, look, we're going to run a sale. But the whole reason we ran a sale wasn't to generate all the revenue. It was to give people an outlet, somewhere to go and do something in a sense of normality. All those dealers were in heaven. The place was packed. We had dealers we had never seen before showing up.
Hey, sorry to interrupt you, but did you have a chance to use the AVC app to pump the message we're having a sale?
We didn't have time. And I'll be honest, sorry, Kelly, I didn't even think of it. What happens is, and I'm not sure if there's a way to message it, and I don't think she was reaching, I don't know. But what was crazy is we're restarting all the computer systems. And one of the things, I don't know how many people realize this, but outside of the state of Texas where the hurricane hit, the power wiped out a lot of the internet because those towers are powered by electricity to make the cell signal go out. So when we're firing up this computer and going, yes, we got internet, we find out we're actually on our backup internet system, which is way slower than being on the regular one. And we're like, how are we going to stream on this? So we actually ran a test sale on that Tuesday, and we're streaming, and we're like, oh my goodness, this is miserable. Well, sometime between Tuesday and Wednesday when the sale was, our regular internet came back, so all of our systems switch over. So I end up doing a bunch of IT stuff because our IT guy, his place got flooded. So he was without a home. He ended up running down to another city and went to San Antonio, I believe, for protection, him and his family. So I become
his name Rich? Or no, not Rich.
Yeah, it's Rich. It's Rich.
No.
It's me. Yeah.
So
anyway, I'm back in the IT room on the phone with one of our other auctions that has the same system, reconfiguring and entering and hitting this and doing all that stuff. I honestly didn't have time.
Yeah.
I didn't have time to get on the AVC app to send anything out.
But
the phone was ringing off the hook. And so every time it was everybody, hey, you're open? Yeah, we're open. You gonna have a sale? Yeah, we're gonna have a sale. How come I can't see any cars on the internet? Hang with us. We'll get those cars pushed over. It's gonna take us a while. Check back tonight. And that's what we ended up doing. By 5 o'clock, we were able to get them up there. So there was two things going on. One is the connection went down, so we couldn't push anything over. But the reality was that we didn't have anything to push over. But we didn't want to tell people that.
Yeah.
You know, if we had said, yeah, we got it's all good. It should be up there. We got 0 cars set. Go look. You know, no one's going to go look at that. We're like, and they were asking, how many cars are you going to run tomorrow? And we're like, we're going to have 4 lanes. That's what we just kept telling them. We're going to have 4 lanes. We knew we were going to be short of our goal of running twice as many or offering twice as many, but we didn't want to like crush anybody or, you know, we didn't want to scare anybody off. But yeah, we're going to have cars. We
So
ended
you
up
had
having
cars, you had the online sale, you
We had
had your
everything.
team show up.
Yep.
Everybody was
Most
happy
of
to
them.
be
Most
there.
of them. There's
Yeah.
still 10 days later, I still have employees that don't have power.
Yeah. Yeah. Understandable, right?
No, it's not understandable. Who honestly comprehend that? We're in the United States of America. We're on a modern grid system. We're not in some third world island, where the entire island got wiped out. Why do people 10 days later not have power? That's a whole nother
Well, no,
podcast.
I'm not saying that's understandable. What I'm saying, understandable that maybe you don't come to work because you're dealing with other problems.
Yeah.
Maybe you moved
Yeah.
two cities away or 4 cities away so you could have power,
Yeah.
whatever. That
Yeah.
to me is understandable, but no,
Yeah.
to not have power, that's true. Well, yeah, we
That's a
definitely want
mess.
to talk about that. So, I mean, let's just go run down real quick. Let's look at what are some of the things. I'm a manager. I'm a general manager. I own my own business. I run a company, an organization. How do I get to this place where people are really excited to come in the middle of what would you call that? Difficulties, adversity.
Yeah. Adversity. Yeah. So how do you get them to respond during adversity is what it really boils down to. And one, I believe it's putting the people first. And you and I have talked about this 100 times on this podcast. You've got to put the people before the profits, the plans, the products, or the production. And so by doing that and continually reinforce those values, like, hey, we want you to be here. We want to do it. What are you doing? Now, when push came to shove and we needed people to come in, I didn't have to beg for people to come in. They wanted to come in and return the favor. They knew the pressure I was under as the general manager, the general helper, that, hey, we got to have a sale this week. We need to run a sale. There's an expectation to sell cars. Let's go help. I mean, the people that couldn't make it to work honestly felt bad they couldn't make it to work because they weren't able to contribute. They wanted to be part of it. But I mean, when you got a tree laying across your driveway that's 4 feet in diameter, and everybody's got a tree laying across their diameter somewhere in their neighborhood, across their driveway, I should say. I mean, there's nobody out there. There's not enough people that can move trees. There's not enough power to get all that stuff done. It just wasn't enough manpower. So the people that were there wanted to be there. The people that weren't there wished they could be there.
Yeah.
And it was it's honestly, it's a beautiful thing.
Well, one of my takeaways as you were telling the story, I remember I had about, I don't know, this was kind of early in my trucking days, but I'd say I had about 10 trucks. And a big snowstorm came. And if you've ever had to haul cars in the snow, it's not fun at all. And getting these things out, so we're parked, it's Monday, we're all ready to go. All the guys are there, and everybody's tires are spinning. Nobody can go anywhere. And everybody's looking at me like, what are we doing? This is stupid. I'm like, I'll be right back. So I go grab the tractor and the chain. And we grab shovels, and we're all out there shoveling and pulling and pushing. And finally we get everybody out. We get it. Okay, let's all go. The highways are good. We just had to get, this far to get going. But I thought, well, why? You could tell the guys weren't really initially into it. Well, a couple weeks later, I found out they were all talking. They're like, it's very encouraging to see the guy that's in charge in the middle of it. And as you're telling the story, I hear the guy that's in charge is in the middle of it. He's hitting the dead end. He's trying to figure out how to get across the highway. He's trying to, I finally made it. Yeah. And then, okay, he's the guy that's out there at 8 o'clock parking cars. I mean, I've been in this business long enough and hung around enough auctions and general managers, and I've seen and I know the guys. I can start naming names. They're out there when it's time to get the job done. And to me, just listening to your story, that is what I would point to, and I would say, now that's value-based leadership. That's, you're building your team up. You're a part of it. You're not above anybody. We're here to sell cars. We're here to move cars. Let's go. And I think that's the thing that I appreciate the most about that story. Good job.
Thank you for joining me on this episode of Meet Me at the Gate. I hope the conversation has helped to fuel your drive and equip you with insights to steer your team towards success. Remember, the road to success is always under construction. And until next time, keep your engines revving and your gas tanks full.